Hi, my name's Anne-Marie O'Key and I work for the Centre for Cross-Border Studies on the Border People Project, where we aim to gather up information that will be useful to people who cross the border between Ireland and Northern Ireland regularly. Our workers, shoppers, our students, our family members and many other people find it useful. We are keeping an eye on Brexit, of course, and how Brexit will impact our cross-border lives is very uncertain. At the moment, thanks to EU membership, we can treat everyone who gets in touch with us equally as EU citizens, and often we look towards the EU rules and regulations for the answers to our cross-border questions. Now, after Brexit, this will change, and the rights of citizens will begin to diverge, and some will be treated quite differently to others. So if we can't look to Europe for the answers, where do we look? This is our puzzle. Where will citizens' rights be found after Brexit? So where can we look? Other sources of rights that we are checking out at the moment is the Common Travel Area, the Good Friday Agreement, the Withdrawal Agreement, and the UK's future relationship with the EU. So the Common Travel Area, we'll start there. That predates EU membership and is not dependent on it. It facilitates the free movement of Irish and British citizens between Ireland, the UK, the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man. Irish and British citizens, please take note of that. It's not other citizens from other places. As well as free movement, the Common Travel Area also has a number of associated rights linked to it, and over the years they have been, as well as the right to enter the other jurisdiction without a visa, the right to employment, to access social security, education, healthcare and certain voting rights in each other's jurisdictions. Now, recently, and because of Brexit, the governments of Ireland and Northern Ireland have strengthened the legal basis for the Common Travel Area by signing a Memorandum of Understanding, reaffirming their commitment to maintaining the Common Travel Area in all circumstances. Up until now, we didn't really need that Memorandum of Understanding because many of those rights and entitlements listed above were actually underpinned by EU membership, but this Memo of Understanding actually strengthens the commitment in the absence of EU membership of the UK. A legally binding agreement has also been formalised between Ireland and the UK to formalise the social security protections that have been linked to the Common Travel Area, and again these are protections aimed at British and Irish citizens. The Department for Foreign Affairs, the Irish Department for Foreign Affairs, have more information about the Common Travel Area, as does the UK government, and we provide links to those after the podcast. Now, alongside the Common Travel Area, there's also rights to be found for linked to the Good Friday Agreement. The rights of Irish and British citizens born in Northern Ireland within a certain time frame. They have the right to be British, Irish or both, parity of esteem and parity of opportunity. So one can't have more opportunities than the other. And this is really, really important whenever we're considering the diverging rights of citizens because of Brexit. So Brexit may retain some EU rights for Northern Ireland born Irish citizens. However, the withdrawal agreement does not fully protect those rights of place of residence in Northern Ireland outside of the EU. So even though there could be an EU citizen living in Northern Ireland, they're outside of the EU, so they can't fully engage all of their rights that they associate with EU membership. So if we consider Irish people born in the Republic, they will obviously continue to have their full EU rights, but they also can find rights then within the Common Travel Area. An Irish person born in Northern Ireland will have EU rights to a point, but because there will be limitations due to their residence in Northern Ireland. They can also find rights within the Common Travel Area and also Good Friday Agreement rights because of that parity of esteem with British citizens. See how it starts to get complicated? So without the Good Friday Agreement, British citizens and Irish citizens born in Northern Ireland could have very different rights. An Irish person born in the North will have EU rights, a British person born in the North will have no EU rights, and a dual citizen born in Northern Ireland would have EU rights but limited by British citizenship. And I suggest you go and have a look for the Emma D'Souza case, because it appears that people who are born in Northern Ireland are deemed by the British Home Office as automatically being British citizens. So we're watching that case at the moment. I understand that it's going back to court very soon in September. So you can see how things are starting to get quite complicated. So there's citizens there with EU rights, without EU rights, and with a blend of EU rights, but they're limited by EU citizenship. Now, if the Good Friday Agreement is protected, British citizens and Irish citizens born in Northern Ireland should continue to have the same rights as we do now. So an Irish person born in the north would have EU rights, albeit limited by their residence in Northern Ireland outside the EU. So that means that according to the Good Friday Agreement, a British person born in Northern Ireland should also retain their EU rights to have equality with the Irish person listed above. People who have dual citizenship and born in Northern Ireland will continue then to have EU rights limited by their British citizenship. And again, the Emma D'Souza case is very interesting in this particular case. Emma does not regard herself as a dual citizen. A British person born in Britain will automatically have no EU rights then. So what this actually introduces, although it will be equality between Irish and British citizens born in Northern Ireland, the inequality will be introduced because a British citizen born in Northern Ireland could actually have more rights and different rights, therefore, than a British citizen born in Britain. Told you it was complicated. So divergent citizenship is one of the main queries that we have at the minute with the Border People Project. How on earth are we going to manage such a range of information to such a different, to so many different groups of individuals? So I suppose where we need to start with Border People is to help people to identify which box do they fit into, and do they fit into more than one? So the person will need to decide whether or not they have continued EU rights, if they have common travel area rights, if they have Good Friday Agreement rights, and if they have withdrawal agreement rights. And we dealt with the withdrawal agreement in the previous podcast. So not everyone, not every EU citizen or UK citizen will have their rights safeguarded by the withdrawal agreement. So for a wee bit more information, I suggest you go and you see our previous podcast. So I suppose the main thing to take away from this is that this is a very, very messy subject, and we will certainly come back to this in lots of more podcasts whenever the practicalities start to emerge and the legal clarification comes through. We'll present the information on the Border People website, and we put it within our Brexit hub under EU citizenship and rights, and we'll also populate the information throughout the website on the appropriate pages. So please keep in touch and check out our website, borderpeople.info. All the best.